The morning sun filters through Margaret's kitchen window in a quiet Sydney suburb, catching dust motes dancing in the air. Her hands, weathered from 69 years of life, tremble slightly as she opens another red-stamped envelope. $25,000 in debts left by John, her husband of 43 years, who passed 3 years ago. The pension of $1,500 a month barely covers her arthritis medication, let alone the mounting bills. She remembers their plans, the Greek holiday they never took, the home renovations John started but never finished, the grandchildren he never saw grow properly. The ache of missing him mixes with the cold dread of financial uncertainty. Her children try to help from Melbourne and Perth, but their solutions always involve selling the family home. To Margaret, every brick holds memories, and leaving would feel like losing John all over again. The breaking point comes on a Saturday morning at Woolworths. Her credit card gets declined at the checkout, the young cashier announcing it loudly enough for other customers to hear. Face burning with humiliation, Margaret abandons her groceries and rushes out into the Sydney sunshine. Standing on the pavement, she makes the decision that will change everything. She'll ask her grandson Liam for help. 2 days later, Liam arrives with his university backpack and easy smile that reminds her so much of John. 19 years old, messy hair, eyes that light up when he talks technology. He brings his laptop and a bottle of iced tea, her favorite. "It's easier than you think, Gran," he says, settling at her kitchen table. Margaret watches, skeptical but hopeful, as he opens the computer. Her hands, accustomed to knitting needles and cooking pots, feel foreign near the keyboard. Liam starts with basics, using analogies she understands. Investing's like gardening, Gran. You plant small seeds, water them regularly, and wait for them to grow. He shows colorful charts, explains compound interest using examples from her rose bushes, compares shares to seedlings needing time to flourish. Margaret listens, fascinated, discovering the financial world isn't the monster she imagined. The first transfer feels momentous. $1,000, nearly all her emergency savings. Her fingers shake over the mouse, heart pounding. Liam places his hand over hers. "Breathe, Gran." Just one click. The transaction confirmation chimes in the quiet kitchen. Margaret feels that mix of terror and excitement she last felt when John first asked her to dance 50 years ago. The first night is endless. Margaret wakes repeatedly, checking her phone as if the money might vanish. She remembers John's words, "You're braver than you know, Maggie." At dawn, exhausted but determined, she decides to trust the process and her grandson. A week later, Liam arrives with ice cream and news. The $1,000 has grown by $15. It seems small, but to Margaret, it's like seeing the first rose bloom after winter. She laughs with relief, hugging her grandson tightly. "You're so like your grandfather," she whispers. Liam smiles proudly. "He'd be proud of you, Gran." In the following weeks, Margaret transforms. She wakes earlier, drinks her tea while checking investments on the tablet Liam gave her. She makes mistakes, once clicking the wrong button and selling shares she should have kept, another time forgetting a password and locking her account for a day. But each error becomes a lesson. Liam visits less often now, only for complex questions. Margaret is learning to fish, not just receiving the catch. 3 months pass. The $1,000 becomes $5,000. Margaret pays off her first debt, the credit card that caused her supermarket humiliation. She buys a chocolate cake and invites Liam to celebrate. In her kitchen, with candles glowing, she feels in control of her life for the first time in years. "Thank you, my dear grandson," she says, eyes shining. "You've given me back more than money." Margaret realizes she's not alone. At bridge club and bank queues, at the chemist, other women her age share similar struggles. Tentatively, she begins sharing her story. First with Ethel, her 80-year-old neighbor who lived in constant fear of outliving her savings. Margaret teaches her patiently as Liam taught her. Ethel succeeds and the circle grows. 6 months bring a surprise. Margaret's investments reach $15,000. All debts are cleared. She hasn't just survived, she's thriving. Her children notice the change when they visit at Christmas. Not just in her bank balance, but in her posture, her confidence, the light in her eyes. Mom, what's happened to you? They ask, amazed. Margaret's story reaches the local paper. A reporter visits her home, interviews her on the veranda where she and John spent so many afternoons. The article runs with the headline, "At 69, retiree becomes digital investment whiz." Liam cuts it out and pins it to the fridge beside family photos. "You're famous, Gran," he teases. Margaret doesn't stop there. She starts a Facebook group, Investing for Savvy Seniors, that quickly gains 200 members. She teaches others what she learned: patience, consistency, courage to make mistakes. Her home, almost sold out of desperation, now hosts monthly meetings where silver-haired women laugh, learn, and gain financial confidence. On a quiet afternoon, Margaret sits on the veranda with tea. She looks at her tablet, then at John's photograph. "You'd see, my love," she whispers. "The technology you feared is taking care of me." She smiles, knowing John's greatest legacy wasn't material, but the resilience that helped her rise each time life knocked her down. The sun sets over Sydney, painting the sky in orange and pink. Inside, Margaret's tablet shows not just numbers on a screen, but living proof that it's never too late to begin again. That the wisdom of age can join with the boldness of youth to create something extraordinary. And that sometimes the best inheritance a grandson can give isn't in a will, but in the patience to teach his grandmother how to navigate a new world. If you, like me, thought it was too late to learn, if you felt alone facing bills that never stop coming, know there is a way. It's not about being a tech expert. It's about having the courage to take that first step. And sometimes that step begins with a beloved grandson, showing how a simple app can transform not just your finances, but your entire life.